You may remember he promised to lower grocery prices on day one, and of course he hasn't, but he is focused on other more important stuff like magnets.
Magnets. If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are.
They don't? No. I could have sworn I've seen them all over my mother's refrigerator. I must be mistaken. Nobody knows what they are.
We have a president who started out when the country was together and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb, destroying every institution.
Let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring it on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used car salesman.
Absolutely.
And he's, you know, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer. So who knows what the hell is wrong with us?
Trump absolutely lost it when Jimmy Kimmel and Jim Carrey exposed his darkest secrets on live television. What happened next will blow your mind. The president went on an unhinged rampage that proved everything they said about him was true. Picture this. The most powerful man in America, sitting in the White House, rage tweeting at 3 a.m. because a comedian and an actor exposed truth so damaging, so embarrassing, that he couldn't contain his fury.
Trump pulled a fast one in the middle of the night last night. He gave get-out-of-jail-free cards to all his cronies who were mixed up in the fake elector scheme. He pardoned 77 people last night, including Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, the entire staff of the Four Seasons Total Landscaping, and the dildo shop next door. They announced the pardons in the middle of the night because, you know, if they do this during the daylight, Rudy's skin bursts into flames.
That's exactly what happened when Jimmy Kimmel and Jim Carrey tag-teamed to expose Donald Trump's dirty secrets on national television. This isn't just about jokes, folks. This is about two Hollywood legends who used their platforms to reveal corruption, lies, and secrets that Trump desperately wanted to keep hidden. And when they did, Trump's reaction proved they hit the target perfectly. Let's start with Jim Carrey's bombshell moment on Jimmy Kimmel Live that sent shockwaves through the internet.
Well, Rudy Giuliani, they say he hasn't been this happy since he almost got to third base with Borat's daughter. The White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, said these great Americans were persecuted and put through hell by the Biden administration for challenging an election, which is the cornerstone of democracy, which is why they pardoned them in the middle of the night. There's no such thing as shame anymore.
Carrey walked onto Kimmel's stage making a strange hand gesture, a triangle around his mouth with his tongue sticking out. When Kimmel asked what he was doing, Carrey's response was explosive. "Like you don't know what it is," Carrey exclaimed. "You don't know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't know, David Letterman doesn't know, all the comics in show business don't know what this is?" Then he dropped the bomb. "Come on, Jimmy, seriously. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies."
He showed the common man being fed through gears of the brutal, dehumanizing industrial age. He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something.
Carrey revealed it was the secret symbol of the Illuminati and claimed that people in the entertainment industry, including late-night hosts, were hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, make you happy and docile so you don't know what is really happening. Now, whether you believe in the Illuminati or not, here's what's fascinating. Carrey was using comedy to expose a deeper truth about how the powerful elite, including Trump, use entertainment and media to distract us from their corruption.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
All we know is the only solution was to completely smash the whole place down. I wish the master builder would master build in private like the rest of us do. So far, Trump is behaving less like a president and more like a property brother. He blew up the East Wing. He redecorated the Oval Office. He paved over the Rose Garden. He added a golden hall of presidents, and he isn't done.
He was calling out the entire system that Trump represents. But Carrey didn't stop there. For years, he created devastating political artwork targeting Trump directly. These weren't just cartoons. They were brutal exposés that drove Trump absolutely insane. Carrey depicted Trump as a clown, a pig, a cyclops, and worse. One painting showed Trump with an explosive device coming out of his mouth. Another compared him to the mayor from Jaws, willing to let people die to save his economic record.
Sit in my room. Trump is toast.
I like that one.
Trump is toast. Yeah, man.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the
it's
day.
It's an affirmation.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. Just to relieve the stress, you know what I mean?
In one of his most savage pieces, Carrey painted Trump with the caption, "Like Captain Ahab, obsessed by a white whale of earthly dominance, Trump beckons all those who enable his madness to their doom." He called Trump Orange Julius Caesar and said he needed to rid America of this wannabe dictator. The artwork was so effective that Carrey's own management warned him he'd lose half his audience. His response? Lose them.
It's hard to understand what's going on. I mean, I really, 1 minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start. And then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do or whatever it is. And, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
That's courage, folks. That's speaking truth to power when there's a real cost. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel was conducting his own devastating exposés of Trump on late-night television. But here's where it gets really interesting. Trump became so enraged by Kimmel's constant truth-telling that he actually tried to get him censored during his first term. And in 2025, when Kimmel's show was temporarily suspended, Trump went completely unhinged.
So just to be clear, peacefully protesting a wannabe dictator means you hate America. Attacking the Capitol to overturn an election, patriotic walking tour. There is nothing more American than a political protest. The American Revolution was a No Kings rally. And if you are planning to go to the rally and you're going to be making your own sign, everybody there has a sign. I just want to ask you, remember, our president is very sensitive about his weight, so please do not use the word Shamussolini to describe him, or engorge Washington, or King Hungry VIII. He will not appreciate it. It's rude, and he will throw you in jail.
I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back, Trump raged on Truth Social. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. He called Kimmel's show a major illegal campaign contribution to Democrats and threatened legal action against ABC, saying, "Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings."
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment. is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something.
But why was Trump so triggered? Because Kimmel had been exposing his lies for years. When Trump's press secretary Caroline Leavitt claimed Trump sent the military to California to turn on the water during wildfires, Kimmel fact-checked it brutally. This didn't happen, okay? Whether or not the US military entered California and turned the water on is not a matter of debate. This is not liberal versus conservative. It didn't happen. Kimmel also exposed Trump's creepy behavior toward women.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something.
Including his own press secretary, when Trump made perverted comments about Leavitt's lips, saying, "That face and those lips, they move like a machine gun," Kimmel's response captured everyone's disgust. Does the White House have HR? He's openly musing about this woman's lips. I feel like if I live to be 1,000 years old, I won't ever see anything as weird as this man running a country. But here's the most revealing part. When Kimmel returned to air after his suspension, he explained exactly why he targets Trump. I talk about Trump more than anything because he's a bully.
To answer this, I didn't realize she'd be in the room, but she's on my list. Caroline Leavitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star, and she's great. She's a great person, actually, but she's, I don't think anybody has ever had a better press secretary than Caroline. She's been amazing.
I don't like bullies. I played the clarinet in high school, okay? So I just don't like him. Donald Trump is an old-fashioned 80s movie-style bully, taking your lunch money, and if you give it to him once, he'll take it again. The combined assault from Kimmel and Carrey exposed multiple dirty secrets. First, Trump's complete detachment from reality. When comedians can prove your press secretary is lying about military operations that never happened, you've lost all credibility.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. Guy had no talent. Kimmel look, he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight. They had a lot of questions. I couldn't answer, like, why is he knocking down the White House? I don't know. Nobody knows.
Second, Trump's creepy, predatory behavior toward women. Making sexual comments about your employees' body parts isn't just inappropriate, it's the behavior of someone who sees women as objects, not professionals. Third, Trump's thin-skinned narcissism. A truly powerful leader wouldn't lose sleep over comedians' jokes, but Trump, he rage tweets, threatens lawsuits, and tries to use government power to silence critics. That's not strength, that's pathetic weakness. Fourth, the systemic corruption Trump represents.
But it's a very, and covering for this president is like putting makeup on a melanoma. You know, not only unsightly, but it's dangerous. I'd see that everybody's a hypocrite because everybody's imagined themselves standing there with his head. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe at least half the country. You know, we're in a tough spot. It's a very, very divided world, and those on I guess you'd call it the left side. I just call it the sensible side. Is, you know, we're sitting there watching this nonsense happen, and people come out and talk about it like we're kindergartners, you know, and covering for this president is like.
As Carrey's Illuminati bit suggested, Trump is part of a system designed to distract and control us, while the rich and powerful rob us blind. Jim Carrey's art became so effective at exposing Trump that he received death threats from Trump supporters. One painting showed Sarah Huckabee Sanders as a so-called Christian whose only purpose in life is to lie for the wicked. Mike Huckabee called Carrey a pathetic bully, but Carrey's response was perfect. I am so gratified by the reaction to my little drawings.
It's the show the FCC doesn't want you to see. We're doing something fun tonight. We're doing something unprecedented tonight. Now, although I think it's unprecedented, I did not bother to check. Tonight, Stephen is a guest on our show. I will simultaneously be a guest on his show. We thought it might be a fun way to drive the president nuts.
Think about that. Trump and his allies were so triggered by paintings that they launched personal attacks on the artist. That's how you know Carrey was hitting the target. His art was revealing truth they couldn't refute, so they attacked the messenger. When Carrey painted Trump's mouth spewing Twitter birds with the caption, "Can't stop tweeting, need to sleep, tweets a cry for help, please, someone test my pee," it wasn't just a joke, it was exposing Trump's mental instability, his Twitter addiction, and his complete unfitness for office.
This was not a good night for the president. Everything he touched was a loser. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr. But don't worry. If you're tired of all the losing, fear not, he's got an excuse. In fact, he's got two of them. He wrote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. Now, if Republicans had won and he wasn't on the ballot, would he take credit for that? Oh, yes, he definitely would, but he lost. And then he posted this. He posted, "And so it begins," which was either a response to Mamdani winning the mayoral race or he just sat down on the toilet. I don't know.
The fact that Trump and his supporters had to create fake videos claiming Levitt destroyed Kimmel in confrontations that never happened shows how desperate they were. They couldn't actually defend against the truth, so they invented alternate realities where they won arguments that never occurred. Here's what's really happening. Two of entertainment's biggest names used their platforms to expose a corrupt, creepy, lying president. They showed us Trump's mental instability, his predatory behavior, his pathological lying, and his authoritarian attempts to silence critics and Trump's unhinged reactions.
It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force. That's right. Makes me feel good.
When you were a kid, would you draw caricatures of your friends, etc.?
I did. I drew pictures of my teacher.
Oh, really?
And I don't have any of those with me. She actually stole... Wow, look at this. I can do anything with it.
They proved every single accusation was true. When a president spends more time fighting comedians than solving problems, when he threatens media companies for allowing jokes about him, when he makes sexual comments about his staff, that's not a leader. That's a thin-skinned wannabe dictator who can't handle the truth. Jim Carrey showed us through his art that Trump is a monster destroying America. Jimmy Kimmel showed us through comedy that Trump is a bully and a liar. Together, they exposed secrets Trump desperately wanted hidden.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. It shows you one thing, that I have good taste, okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. His island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. But Jeffrey Epstein was not somebody that I respected. I threw him out. In fact, I think the great James Patterson, who's a member of Mar-a-Lago, made a statement yesterday that many years ago I threw him out. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein.
That he's mentally unstable, sexually inappropriate, pathologically dishonest, and fundamentally unfit for office and Trump's reaction, threatening lawsuits, raging on social media, trying to use government power to silence them. That's the reaction of a guilty man who knows he's been exposed. An innocent person would laugh it off. A confident leader would ignore it, but Trump, he lost it completely because he knew they were telling the truth.
Since you came back, have you asked Trump or Carr to come on?
No, I haven't. I wouldn't necessarily be interested in Brendan Carr on the show. But yeah, I'd love to have Trump on the show for sure. Yeah. I mean, I feel like he knows that he wants. I don't know. All right, I'll ask him.
This is bigger than comedy. This is about artists and comedians doing what journalists often fail to do, holding power accountable, exposing corruption, and telling truths that need to be told. When Jim Carrey says he's sick and tired of the secrets and lies, he's speaking for millions of Americans who see through Trump's con game. When Jimmy Kimmel calls Trump a bully who steals lunch money, he's not just making a joke, he's revealing the fundamental truth about Trump's character. He's a weak man pretending to be strong, a poor man pretending to be rich, a stupid man pretending to be smart. The secrets are out. The emperor has no clothes. And two comedians with the courage to speak truth to power made sure the whole world knows it. That's why Trump lost it. That's why he'll never stop attacking them. Because Jimmy Kimmel and Jim Carrey exposed his dirty secrets on live TV, and there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. The truth is out there, folks. Trump is exactly what these comedians showed us he is. A corrupt, creepy, mentally unstable con man who should never have been allowed near the White House. And thanks to Kimmel and Carrey, millions of people now see it too. That's the power of comedy. That's the power of art. That's the power of truth. And that's why Trump will never stop being afraid of them.